Okay, before I lay this hedge, I've got a few things to do, a bit of prep. I've got to make some hedging stakes. I've got to get a load of binders ready. And the worst job of all is I've got to get the tree guards. Put these on to protect the hedge where it's grown. There's lots of rabbits around here. Can't really shoot on this section because it's a footpath, so the rabbits are a little bit protected. So I put tree guards on them. Obviously now I've got to take them all off, and it's a bit of a painful job. It's a horrible job pulling out all those tree guards. I'm glad it's done. I do feel a little bit guilty about the plastic, the waste plastic from it. At the time we were real short of cash, and it was kind of the best option to make sure that we got the hedge established. It was 10 years ago, not that there's any excuse. Some of these I suppose could be reused, but a lot of them have gone really rather brittle and have cracked off and kind of exploded as I've pulled them off the trees. But it's nice to get it out the hedge. There is now 225 plants, hedging plants, that wouldn't have been there without it. It's on a footpath, like I said, so you couldn't shoot the rabbits. The grass doesn't really grow much up here because it overshadowed quite heavily these lime trees. So everything's kind of reaching for the light. So the trees have done quite well, but the grass never does. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I think I wish there's a better solution. There probably is now. But at the time, that was what we could afford, and that's what we did. So yeah, take that on the chin. Okay, so if you watch my fixing the hedge video, I managed to get some posts for doing this next bit. I managed to get 50 posts around that, and from a few other places as well. So unfortunately I'm going to have to rob a few from the hedges. Not ideal. I'm going to be cherry picking out a few long poles on stuff that probably wants laying next year really. But it means that it gets this bit done. I haven't got to buy any materials. So I'm going to pull a few out of the hedge now, all about 5 foot long, hopefully not too thick. I've got some here that are far too thick really, and they're going to take more knocking in. Just means more work for me really, especially as they're only going in the ground about a foot. So yeah, get cutting. There you go. Drag. So we get some binders now, which are the bits that weave around the top of the stakes in the hedge. This is probably a little bit short. When we first came here, this stand of hazel coppice was the first thing I did, was to chop down to get it grown again. This will be the third cut we've had on it in 11 years. So probably a little bit early, but it's nice kind of flexible growth. The only thing is it's probably not long enough. It's probably about 12 foot tall, but we'll just put more in the top. It should be fine. So I'm going to thin this out now, pull them to one side, probably use the billock when I'm up there to make sure they're just nice long whippy growth, and we can use those as our binders. They were going to be for bean poles and things like that, but I've got plenty of other stuff for that, so it's not the end of the world. Might need some more from elsewhere, but we'll use these to start with, and as we go in we can see if I need some more. I can always harvest some more out of it. Unfortunately, the stump is quite big, quite high, much higher than I actually like it. When we tried to put it off low, there must have been some old kind of either fencing or washing line. I think they used to use it for a washing line here, and it's all grown into it, and so we just couldn't get the chainsaw through it. So we've had to kind of almost pollard it a little bit higher, which does mean a little bit of the stump is rotting, but it'll rot out and come back, I'm sure, over time. Okay, so that's the prep done for laying this 42 metres of hedge. Taking the tree guards off, cut myself a load of stakes. I've got about 90 for 42 metres, so some of them are really rubbish. Normally you'd be pulling more out of the hedge as you were laying it, because this is such young, I'm not going to be getting anything out of this, I don't think. It's only 9 years old and really overshadowed. I've got a load of binders. They're all a little bit short, but I have got a willow tree that we pollarded a few years ago, which has got some nice long whippy growth. Should it come to it, I can go cut some of that down. So we'll see how we go with that. I don't want to cut too much, but I'll have some of it here ready. So the next stage is to start laying the hedge. Thanks for watching.